Good afternoon. We're back with more Lord of the Rings LCG, and today is Across the Ettenmoors on Nightmare difficulty. So this quest I found quite a bit more difficult than its normal counterpart, and the strategy I chose for this quest is to clear all of the side quests before advancing into phase 2 of the quest. In the Nightmare difficulty, you have an additional effect from the Nightmare card in Phase 2A or 3A. When a side quest is revealed, you also attach a safe location to it. That actually makes things a little easier, I think, and is intended to offset the difficulty of the Nightmare cards in this one. So for the setup for the Nightmare mode, we have one side quest chosen randomly, one safe location chosen randomly, which is guarded by the side quest, and the rest get shuffled into the deck. And the side quest is not too bad. It's just a can't heal side quest, the can't heal side quest, and then we also need to start with one enemy in the staging area. So we're off and running. I'm going to save resources on Frodo so I can get Steward of Gondor on Elrond. And just going to quest for a little bit. We'll be working on the side quest. So get... In this case, I forgot that I wanted to save resources on Frodo, and instead I used his ability. So that's going to delay Steward of Gondor by a turn, but no problem. To travel to the location, we do make 5 progress right away. And to travel to the location, you have to take a damage on each exhausted character. And we got to deal with this spider. So Frodo's ability lowered threat by 1, and Beregond's successful defense lowered threat by 1. Amarthael is a very helpful ally for combat with his 3 attack power. And now with 2 spirit resources, I could either play Arwen or I could... But I realized that if I did that, I wouldn't have a resource for a test of will. Always save a resource for a test of will. And this is why, Cold from Angmar, that blanks all damaged characters' text boxes and can be a very big deal. So pretty important to cancel that one, so very glad I saved a resource for it. And that will clear side quest number 1. Now, as per the Nightmare mode, at the beginning of the quest phase, if there are no side quests in the staging area, you discard until you find one. So that makes this strategy where you clear every side quest before advancing viable. I don't honestly remember what stage 1 was like in normal mode, but I don't remember doing this strategy for the normal mode, that's for sure. Though it's possible that I did. But I remember normal mode being relatively easy to just breeze through. At least relative to some of the other quests in this cycle. So, gonna quest with Frodo and Éowyn here. I've gotta go find a side quest at the beginning of the quest phase, so I can then choose to work on that side quest, and it's going to be Lost in Wilderness, which means my hand is going to go face down underneath it. And I'll get it back after I clear the quest. That safe location is just going to sit there in the staging area for a while until I need it. So questing for 6, we got... Each character gets -1, so it's going to be 5-4 now. So I quest for 3. And the stone troll can just stay in the staging area for a bit. And we're on to the next round, so we can get out Vilya. And Vilya brings Gildor, so that's very good. So I'm going to quest for 9 here. Each player assigns X damage where X is the number of quests in play, so that's 2. And exhaust each character damage, so we'll assign the damage to Jubayr and exhaust him. We'll heal that off of him next turn with Ioreth, and that will clear the side quest. And we're on to the next round. So that's 2 out of 6 completed. Get Arwen into play. I could play Galadrim's Greeting anytime, really. But I decided I want to play Arwen and Beorn instead. So once again, I need to go find a side quest. We discard until we find it. So far the side quests have come out in a pretty good order, where I didn't get one that I wasn't set up to deal with. It's isolated. Players cannot draw cards by card effects. And when the stage is defeated, each player draws a card. So that'll be the quest that I'm working on. And the encounter card is doomed to... I could cancel that, and I decide that I will, but I still have to pay the doom too. It only cancels the win reveal effect. So with 9, well, I got a lot working on the quest, so I'm going to make enough progress to clear the side quest here right away. Depending on what the encounter card is. I'm going to use Frodo's ability to ready Gildor, and the encounter card is a pretty mild location. So that'll be side quest number 3, and that will draw a card. And that will be Burning Brand. So I'm just thinking for a second about whether I want to deal 1 damage to every exhausted character, and I decide that's fine. Because I don't want all my allies entering play exhausted. Do have healing on the table with Ioreth. No problem with cards not leaving my discard pile. That's not what this deck does. So, we'll move on to the next round. And get a little healing right away. Don't want Jubayr maxed out. That ally is so valuable against nightmare modes, which often have terrible shadow effects. Burning Brand and Jubayr, I should be able to mitigate the effects of shadow effects quite a bit. So, as usual at the beginning of the quest phase, I've got to go find a new quest, and that is going to be the quest that I choose. You choose a new quest at the beginning of the quest phase, and at the beginning of or at the end of effects, the enemy goes first and then the player. So we're going to clear Lie Low here. Gonna clear all 6 of the side quests in the deck and then move on. Got the willpower on the table to do it, no problem. And as when you clear lie low, you can shuffle an enemy into the deck, which I do, but I got another one just to replace it as the encounter card. So Thalion becomes a hero because of the number of side quests in the victory display. He loses the ally archetype and becomes, or the, not archetype, but the ally card type and becomes a hero. And once again, I need to discard until I find a side quest. It's going to take longer now that there are fewer side quests left in the deck. There it is. Scavenge for supplies. Cost to play each card is increased by 1. And when the stage is defeated, I have to go get a troll enemy and put it into play engaged with me. Well, it's another one of those locations that does a damage to each exhausted character when I travel to it. That would kill Arwen, that would kill Éowyn, so I can't travel there yet. And I cleared the side quest, so I have to go looking for a troll enemy. There's a good amount of options for that in this quest. Yeah, I'll probably grab a savage troll spawn. Should be put into play engaged with me. Side quest is off to the victory display. And I can play a card from hand thanks to the side quest. So I'm not going to move to that location because I don't want Éowyn and Frodo to die and Arwen as well. But the reason that I chose Scavenging Stone Troll, even though it's quite formidable, is that when you move to a safe location, you can just move the enemy back to the staging area. And that enemy doesn't do a lot in the staging area. However, then I noticed that you can't move to a safe location while there's a Scavenging Stone Troll with no damage on it. So that plan was spoiled. But I can deal damage with my allies sufficient to kill him, so no problem. But if I had that to do over again, I would have chosen a different troll. That ally was actually supposed to interplay exhausted, so I should only have been able to heal 1 damage from each of my characters there and not 2. But it's not going to impact the game. Because of the location in the staging area, Warden of Healing should have entered play exhausted. Then I could spend 2. Well, actually, I think he shouldn't have been able to heal any damage because his action isn't ready him. His action happens after you heal, so shouldn't have been able to heal any damage this round. I would have needed to use Ioreth, and I could have healed Éowyn, but not the other damage that I healed. But no problem. I'd have one more resource on Elrond, and Ioreth could have healed. Would have left the damage on Beregond, healed it off with the Warden of Healing next round. So, no problem. And we can take out the next Scavenging Stone Troll. And now I have completed all 6 side quests. So, the text of Into the Ettenmoors, if there are no side quests in play, discard from the top of the encounter deck until a side quest is discarded. That is no longer possible, as there are no side quests left in the deck. So we're gonna see what Vilya brings. Vilya brings a duplicate. So we'll just be questing to clear phase 1 here. Warden of Healing would not have healed those two. He would have healed damage that I accidentally healed last round. The encounter card is a safe location which needs a guard. Remove each damaged character from the quest. But I had well more than enough, so even if I needed to remove Éowyn or somebody, well, if I had any damage left on characters, I would have used Ioreth, so I don't think that would have maybe resulted in me losing a little progress off of the quest, Frodo or somebody, or who knows, but I had resources available, healers available. So the error with forgetting to have the Warden of Healing interplay exhausted, not much effect that could have on the game at this point. With all the side quests cleared in this board state, at maximum, it would take one more turn or one more character committed to the quest or something like that. Still, it's good to point these things out. Helps me to get better, at least. So Gandalf should interplay exhausted here due to the location in the staging area, or I can deal 1 damage to him. So dealing 1 damage to him is simple. Just do that. It's no problem. Using Frodo's ability on Elrond. So the encounter card attaches to a side quest. There are none. Surges into the exact same card. Surges again into an enemy. No problem. And we don't need to reveal an additional card during the encounter phase, or the quest phase, because the location was a safe location. Had 2 of those available. Going to move to the second one here. I don't think an additional encounter card would have been a big deal anyway, but I'm committing too many characters to the quest to want to move to that location in the staging area. I'll just deal with its effects while it's there. And we're getting the board state built up to the point where there's not much that can threaten me. That Knight of the White Tower should interplay with 1 damage on it, which could then be healed off by the Warden of Healing, if need be. I would prefer to cancel that. Well, actually, it doesn't matter because it's Search the encounter deck and discard pile for a side quest. All of the side quests are currently in the staging area, so that is not possible. And that's going to clear phase 2 along with the second safe location. The 2A and 3A each require you to search for a side quest. There are no side quests available, along with 1B and various encounter cards. Wait, did I forget to reveal a second encounter card here? One of these turns? What I forgot to do is move to the second safe location. That's what I intended to do, what I wanted to do, and then I would have cleared it here. So I would have moved to the second, I wanted to move to the second safe location so that I wouldn't have to reveal another encounter card. And I think I'm realizing that now, but I don't know why I leave it in staging area. Because I wanted to move there, and then with my 20 progress I would have cleared that and the 5 progress I needed to complete phase 2. Wouldn't have had to deal a second encounter card, which it's really a small thing because the second encounter card isn't going to do much at this point. But we're on to phase 3 anyway, and on to a new round. And it's just a matter of clearing phase 3, and each damaged character would get -2. That's why the 2 healers are important in this deck. The card is going to be a Ruthless Hill Troll. And Faramir should have actually entered play with 1 damage on him, thanks to the location in the staging area. But 1 damage on Faramir and on the Knight of the White Tower would have made no difference. So I forgot that location in the staging area's effect quite a bit in this quest. But with the large amount of healing that I had, no problem. Once I got my board state established, once I got the side quests in the right order and cleared all the side quests out, I actually kind of think that that breaks this encounter a little bit, this quest a little bit. I'm not sure it was designed with players clearing all the side quests in mind, because then the card text is worded in such a way that it makes me think that this wasn't really planned for by the developers. Because if you took the phase 1B, like did exactly what it says discard cards until you find a side quest. Well, what if you were playing this quest blind and you didn't know that you'd cleared them all, and you just keep discarding cards infinitely? So my interpretation is that once there are no more side quests left, you don't need to do that anymore. But how would a player know that without some knowledge of the encounter deck prior to the quest? So not really one you can play blind, at least not with this strategy. Then on 2A and 3A, the Nightmare effect has no effect because we've already cleared the side effect, the side quests, and 2A and 3A have no effect because we cleared the side quests already. Very interesting. Yeah, healing's important on this one because in phase 3 your damaged characters don't deal or have -1 or 2 willpower unless the active location has a safe keyword. In my opinion, you want to save the safe locations for phase 2 when you have to deal a second encounter card if you don't have a safe location. And it's good to get through that phase as fast as possible so you don't get bogged down by 2 encounter cards each round. So, thanks for watching.